So, Rami,
It's Rami
Rami.
Tsunami from the Toronto
Rami.
Business Journal. It's good to meet you.
Oh, good to meet you, Rami.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing all right. Yeah, I'm glad that we finally got this set up. Yeah, it was some time now. Yeah, the last time I don't know what happened. I get bombarded with emails, and I got some sent to my spam. So when I looked, I said, "Oh man, they had already passed the
Oh,
deadline."
I
But it's
totally
fine.
understand that, man. Yeah, I can't keep track of my inbox. Like half the stuff gets sent to spam if it's not from a contact.
Yeah, and I'm using I think it was Yahoo email, which I was trying to filter some stuff out and still it's not working correctly, but it's all right. So how did you hear about my channel?
Okay, so yeah, just my friends at the Toronto Business Journal just put me on to you, and they're like, okay, so, but really, your channel, what really fascinates me and them, like as my representation of the company, is that your Statue of Liberty discoveries, because we're really into the Mandela Effect and different kind of space time continuum alterations, as you call them.
Yes, okay. Well, yeah, that was a big one for me.
Mm.
Because I remember that she was on Ellis Island. There was
Yeah.
no Liberty Island, and I have a friend that's from Pennsylvania, and he has a kid, uh, had gone to Ellis Island and was on the Statue of Liberty and actually went on to the torch. But according to history now, since
Yep.
1916, because of this Black Tom Island history that popped up, uh, you can't go onto the torch since then. There was some significant damage to the torch, and I'm like, I've never heard of this history before, and he was like, well, I was there with my grandparents. I mean, it's like my memories of that was just wiped away. How can that be? And it's a different island. I mean, it doesn't make
Mm.
sense. So
It's funny you say that because yeah, me as a child, because I was born in New York, I grew up in New York, and so I remember going up to the torch. My father sent me up because he wasn't about to climb it because we're up at that point, and you got to climb a ladder up into the torch. And another thing is the torch we have now is looking a little foreign to me too. But I'm with you on the Ellis Island thing because Liberty Island just sounds weird to me.
yeah,
That
that
doesn't sound
is.
familiar.
And what's weird, I mean, and I pointed this out in my video, and I can share some images of the map. How can Ellis Island be part of New Jersey officially, and the Statue of Liberty on Liberty Island, which is further away
Mm,
from New York Harbor, be considered New York? How?
yeah.
And now, if you look at the coin for the New Jersey, it has the processing center, Ellis Island, on the back of the quarter. And it's like, it
Yeah,
doesn't
no.
even make sense. This is insane.
Yeah, there's a lot of those. What you're talking about with that terrorist attack back in like what was it, 1915, something like that.
1916, yeah, they called it
16.
the,
Yeah.
the Black Tom Island. And again, that's new history for me. I
Mm.
never even heard of it. Some people would say, well, you just don't know your history. Look, if I know friends of mine that actually gone to the torch and been there, I'm not going to discredit them for that. And you're just saying we're just misremembering. Come on, give me a break, man. This is an excuse for everything. When did misremembering become a thing? I'd never even heard of that until recently, when all of this stuff started happening and popping up. And it's like, well, you just don't know. You don't remember your history. I was like, no, this is crazy. But
It's those of us that have a enough are in touch with reality that we notice these changes. So yeah, for sure, I'm with you. I just think some people don't pay attention or some people don't care is the big thing. Like because
yeah,
again,
no,
they can't see the big picture implications of this because it's not just all little changes here and there, no big deal. It's like, okay, what's going on behind the scenes? What are they doing at CERN, and like in this kind of simulation that we're in to affect this. How do you feel about that?
well, for me, this whole thing with CERN, like CERN was never a thing growing up, that they're also new to me. And some people even consider them a Mandela effect, but
Mhm.
what they're doing is nothing, in my opinion. And again, a lot of people don't agree with my opinion, and that's fine. But it's nothing but a high level witchcraft what they're doing.
Yeah.
Uh, and I mean, if you look at when they did the opening of that tunnel, that was nothing but a freaking
Mhm.
satanic ritual, man. I mean, if you don't see that, I mean, okay, you don't want to see it, but that's what they did. I mean, and their logo, if you look at their logo, it's three sixes.
Oh yeah.
Oh no, it's just that's just the way it is. It's designed. No, they're putting it out there, man. They're putting this stuff out there. It's not like they're hiding anything. And then you have backing of all these different countries pushing this stuff. So that's how I feel about that. Again, not a lot of people are going to agree with that, and that's fine. But that it's nothing but like I said, a high level type of witchcraft that they're dealing with, that they're doing. They're trying to open up portals or whatever the heck they're trying to do. I mean,
I really like that perspective, and yeah, like a lot of people might not kind of connect the spirituality to the science, but really you look at it like chemistry is alchemy, right? Like
yeah,
spelling, like the words we say is like we're casting spells with our words. So of course
yeah,
it's really important like to languish the language and really like pay attention to these little details, because yeah, they're literally putting us in what was like our cells, right? We're in cells, we're in like prison cells. Like they're literally like caging us in with science.
yeah. It's something else. I tell you. I mean, when did you become aware of the Mandela effect?
So, but the lady in there, she was incredibly woke. She was a Reiki master, and she told me. I remember what she said. She said, well, two things. One, she said, God is inside you, right? Like connect to God from within. And I'm like, okay, heck yeah, that jives with me. That's what Jesus did. And then the second thing she said is, don't do anything to get high. Do things to expand your consciousness. Like 7, 8 years ago. But that said, that kind of turned me on to this whole okay, consciousness. That's when I started meditating. That's when I started getting in that. And at that point I started paying attention. I started noticing things. I started noticing synchronicities like 11 11 1 2 3 4, yada yada. And then I also noticed these changes in what was going on around me. At one point I was working at Steak Escape. Chick-fil-A was literally right across from me, right? And I
Mhm.
remember the spelling changing twice. I remember CHIK, and I really remember CHIC, right? So I think like I've been between three realities, and of course now we're in this bizarre CHICK universe, which is completely foreign to me, because
Yeah.
like, it was definitely uncanny enough and misspelled enough that I would have remembered it, and a lot of other people do. I don't think like I think CHIC is more common on like Twitter and stuff than
Yep.
CHICK.
Yeah, I remember it with the C, but I also seen it with the K too on
You know,
like a receipt. And I was like, oh, they misspelled it, but I didn't think
yeah.
anything of it. And I actually found some with the receipt. I made a video on it as well. Or no, actually, I was researching for another channel at that time before I started posting videos on my channel. And so 2012, wow, okay.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't wake up until and wake up to these changes until June 30th, 2016. I mean,
Oh wow.
I actually was, I mean, and I'm going to say this, I mean, I come from a Christian background, and I sometimes like have experienced like something that I just couldn't explain, but it was like, okay, well, this must be God. And he's like, wake up, get out of bed. You need to wake up now. That's what
Like a
it was.
prompt,
And I
yeah.
got up and it was around midnight, 2, 1, 2, something like that, somewhere around that time. I couldn't pinpoint the exact time, but it was right on the 16th of 2000, on the 30th of June 2016, and I woke up and within an hour of just checking out stuff on YouTube, I heard about the Mandela effect and I was like, what the heck is this? And that's how I stumbled into this, and I started researching, and my mind was just blown from then on. But I researched because I was like, I know I'm not freaking going crazy. What the heck is this? What is going on? I
What's going
remember
on? Yeah.
the Bibles. When I heard that the Bibles were changing,
Oh yeah.
I went and, I mean, I had a couple of Bibles in my house, and I went and bought a whole bunch of the King James Version Bibles because that was the one that was really getting hit with these changes. And I was seeing some of these changes happen, and I was like, what in the world is going on? This should not be happening. And I remember as a kid, my mother was a Sunday school teacher, and she would tell me, like, you have to prepare because God's going to come. And it was like the day of doom was coming soon. And I said, yeah, how? I mean, I don't see that ever happening. And I told her, I said, you think those things that, like, that are in the stories that are in the Bible are true? I mean, it's kind of unbelievable, that God would talk to, these people in the Bible like Noah and Moses. And I said, I don't see that ever happening. I don't see, physical reality changing, or anything like that. And
Exactly.
wow, I said, hmm, this is really strange, when I started seeing stuff, things popping up, and, Bibles changing, and, the land masses changing. And I was like, what in the world is going on? So yeah, this is no joke for me. And that's how I started down this rabbit hole with going down researching.
I relate to a lot of that. Yeah, I'm actually from both like kind of like a Muslim Christian background because my dad comes from Islamic and then my mom comes from Christian, so I kind of got everything, and they're very similar religions too. But nowadays I start to look at things more like read between the lines, because
Mhm.
there's truth in all of these. Yeah, someone had an experience and they wrote these things down, right? So there's some kind of message you can decipher from these, of course, besides for all like the what do you call it, the meddling that happened from Constantine, yada yada, because of
Yeah,
course they repackaged the Bible into something that they could sell. But the message is in there, and like because I think what connects it for me is with the Mandela effect and this like this matrix reality we're in, and the spiritual aspect of it. What connects those three? It for me is like, okay, you got the we're in this matrix kind of simulation, right? So maybe like it's this big computer system, right? And maybe that's God or whatever people call God, and we're all kind of connected into it, and there are these changes, and us as humans, with like you can see from transhumanism and like cybernetics and all this, like these advancements, microbots, like that's gonna be
yeah,
real in the coming future. We're kind of learning to simulate God ourselves, like playing God by kind of altering this matrix that we're in, right? It's a your mom would probably call that blasphemy, right?
oh yeah.
Um, but by doing that, we're seeing these residual effects, called Mandela effects or butterfly effects. It's kind of all intertwined, but once we kind of pay attention, not to necessarily like Fruit Loops or like Frosted Flakes or whatever people talk about this week, but pay attention like, okay, why? What happened that chain reacted into those changes?
Yeah, well, excuse me, one of the things that is with these changes going on, and you're going to get a lot of people that are not seeing these changes. They're just going to basically troll you and say, you don't know what you're talking about, it's always been this way. I guess a lot of people that do finally wake up to these changes actually happening, and that they'll start seeing what we've been talking about, as researchers, and one of the ones that really is disturbing to me, and I don't know if you're aware of it, but when a person changes from one person to another,
Mm.
and an example of that, a perfect example of that is Jane Goodall. You've heard of that
Oh,
effect?
yeah, and they'll kind of shift and be slightly different. Mark Zuckerberg's another one that kind of I think came to mind when you were talking about that, because that is not the same human being.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm talking about like the profession, like Jane Goodall, Gorillas of the Mist. You've ever heard of Gorillas in the Mist?
Yeah,
She
with
was
the
the
with
one
the
that,
gorillas, yeah.
yeah, she did. Well, a lot of people say that, and I'm one of those that believe that and she used to work with gorillas.
Mm.
Well, now she's never worked with gorillas. She's worked with
Wait.
chimpanzees.
Okay.
And the person that took over her her life, like her change, is Diane Fossey, which I've never heard of. Diane
Yeah, I've
Fossey
never heard of
died.
her.
She was killed by poachers. And some
Huh.
people say that it was Jane Goodall that died. But
Mm.
I mean, I just posted a video on, I mean, I made a series of videos. I'm up to volume 19 on my channel. And I posted, um, it's no more than 7 minutes, maybe close to 7 minutes long at the most. And it's a compilation of the Mandela effects that I've come across. And
Wow.
it's called the What You Used to Be series.
Mm.
So I'm showing in my series of what I remember, and I show that this is what they used to be before it changed. So I'm showing my research in these videos, and one of them was, and The Simpsons, I don't know how, but The Simpsons hold the residuals of what it used to be for, whether it's a song or a character, or like Queen's song, or these different things that are going on, these changes, they capture it. I don't know how it's possible that they've touched on so many of them, but there's an episode called Gorillas in the Mast, and they had
Okay.
Jane Goodall as a special guest, and it was Jane Goodall's voice. She was a special guest, and it was Gorillas in the Mast. If she was never involved with gorillas, why would they invite her to be the special guest on the show about gorillas in the nature preserve when she's always worked with chimpanzees?
Yeah, I always remember her working with gorillas.
Yeah.
Her working with chimpanzees. I've never heard of that.
Yeah, you
So,
can you can watch my video, and I have the video. In my video, I show where she's Lisa, the character Lisa from The Simpsons, is looking up to her, and she said, "Can I want to do what you do, and can I get a scholarship?" And she's like, "No." And then they have the gorilla that they found, and now she has her in the preserve. And I even included her uh, on a video documentary saying to please support the gorillas of somewhere in the Netherlands, I believe. But anyway, and I included it in my video. And he's like, well, no, she's never worked with them. So why would she be supporting gorillas if it's always been chimpanzees? It doesn't make
mm.
sense. So, I mean, that's a person that changed from one to another. Now, Diane Fossey, we can't ask her because she was murdered, according to history, by these poachers. And
Oh well.
yeah, so I mean, they made a whole movie, but everything changed. How is that possible? I mean, it's unbelievable.
Well, it's
So,
like, yeah, that's what tells me it does go farther back, and like people talk about the butterfly effect and change reactions. One thing I heard, one weird theory is that something about like modifying the weight of an electron, and that like flipped us into a whole different universe. But yeah, so I really like that one, but really, like, yeah, nobody knows for sure. I haven't been to CERN, so I don't
yeah.
entirely know what they're doing. But yeah, there are a lot of like these like people changes you notice, like I was talking about, like with Mark Zuckerberg. Like I don't, and maybe that's not Mandela effect related. Maybe he's just like been cloned by the Illuminati or something.
Yeah.
Uh,
He looks very lizard like to me, but that's just me. But I made
yeah.
a video. I made a video on him. His last name changed for me.
Oh
Um,
wow. What are you remembering for the Zuck?
Let me see. Zuckerberg I think believe it was, would you spell his last name? While you're doing that, I can
Like
pull
I would
his.
spell Zuckerberg.
I think it was, okay. So you are, let me see, because I would, I don't want to, hold on. I'll tell you right now. Um, where the heck is it? Um, just looking forward. Sorry, I was not prepared for that one. But yeah, his last name changed for me. Where? Okay, Mark. Zuckerberg. So instead of a uh, ERG at the end of his name, it was URG.
Okay. Yeah, that was my second guess because I thought in my mind, I'm like, is it ERG or URG? So yeah, I'm with you. There's some kind of like doubt in my mind about that. So maybe it's familiar to me, but I'm not 100 on it.
Yeah.
And I gotta be like that, like with certain effects. I'm like, I'll think about things and then I second guess myself.
Yeah, and I've had some where I actually experienced it, like it changed on me. And how is that possible? That's something that I'm looking at, or I'm that I had that experience with my friend Rena. She has her channel, maybe it's Mandela, and when I was researching the Grateful Dead, and I had a book of the Grateful Dead, and the thing was it changed to the current spelling now. For me, the word grateful, and a lot of people are going to say yeah, grateful was spelled like GREATFUL, great.
Grateful, yeah.
Yeah. So, and it changed to the way grateful is spelled now. And I have a video on the word grateful, and I included that about it changing, and there's albums of the Grateful Dead with that spelling. So how is that possible? That the actual albums are spelled that way, but yet they've always been spelled grateful the way grateful is spelled now. So that word grateful disappeared completely. And I mean, I asked a lot of my family, and I'm originally from Texas, and they were like, yeah, they spelled it the way I remember. And I said, how to spell the Grateful Dead? It's spelled the same way. And, that's same spelling. And now it's different. And people are like, well, you just never learned the correct way to spell grateful. It's like, come on. But yeah.
Well, it's like the same with the Chick-fil-A thing. It's like, obviously, the reason I remembered it is because it was spelled weird. So the same thing with like Grateful Dead. Yeah, I remember EAT. I didn't even know it was ATE now. So yeah. You introduced that one to me. I have them on vinyl right here. I listen to them regularly.
Yeah, look at the album. And for me, it used to be The Grateful Dead. Now it says Grateful Dead.
Grateful Dead, yeah.
So
there was one just like, I'll notice little ones here and there. Like the other day I was watching School of Rock, right? And now the name is The School of Rock.
Oh, the one with Jack Black?
Jack Black, yeah.
Yeah, it was School of Rock.
School of Rock. But now it's The School of Rock. And it's like, wait, where'd the come from? Like, what?
Yeah, that one is one with the changing. That one is very strange. I mean, look at like the Eagles. It's now Eagles.
Yeah.
That's so. I mean, there's a lot of those that pop in and out. Some of them I've caught in transition. You know that song, "What I Like About You." You've heard that song. You know the band.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Do you remember the name of the band? Can you say the name? What I Like About You. They also
about you. You hold me tight. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, it's slipping my mind. Can you enlighten me?
I'll say it has romantic, something. It has romantic in the word in the name of the band, but it's for me. It was the Romantics. They're changing to Romantics. The is disappearing, but you could still catch. And I show, and some of them, I mean, it's unbelievable. I was watching the video and it disappeared. I made a video on it and people were like, no, it's always been Romantics. And I was like, well, if you look at they're on stage, they have the Romantics on the drum set. You see the albums, it said the Romantics, but it's like, I don't know, it's like it's in transition or so, like the Go-Go's. Was it the Go-Go's or Go-Go's? That's in transition.
Go-Go's, yeah. They're a lot like that with yeah.
And what's the name of the girl band, the other girl band from the 80s? Walk Like an Egyptian. Remember that band?
Oh, the Bugles?
the Bengals.
Bangles. Okay, I thought it was the Bugles.
No, the Bengals. Well, they're now Bengals.
Oh wow.
So you
Okay.
see what I'm talking about? Like the either disappears or appears. It's very
Yeah.
strange.
Well, I'm not entirely sure if I don't just didn't remember the name. So that's where I kind of like second guess
Yeah.
myself. Maybe I just don't know a lot of 80s music,
Yeah.
but like yeah, I remember Walk Like an Egyptian because I'm Egyptian. So
Yeah. Well, that was the Bengals, and yeah, if you look at them now, you're going to see their albums. It just has Bengals. So
mm,
it's very strange coming, seeing some of these changes happen. I mean, I like I said, I've actually seen stuff change before my eyes, and
right
and my,
before,
my
yeah,
even in some of my videos after I posted it,
yeah.
something has changed like shortly after I posted it, and I, before I post anything, I make sure that the spelling's correct, the way I remember it, the way it was. And this has changed on a couple of the things that I've researched. And how is that possible? How is that
Oh yeah.
possible?
It's
Doesn't
almost like
make sense.
residue just before your eyes,
Yeah.
like I touched on Chick-fil-A earlier. One big residue I have is like because I'm like pretty OCD about like spelling things correctly.
Mhm.
Like I think it's like 2013. I had like a tweet that I have favorited. It's a really famous tweet where I was like, I'm always in the mood for Chick-fil-A on Sundays, and I spelled it CHIC, and I was literally right in front of the restaurant looking at the sign. So I mean that's one that without a doubt I'm sure about because
Yeah.
it's like I don't doubt my senses, you know. So I'm like, okay, if I see it, there it is. But yeah, there's a lot of residues like that. What
Yeah. There's,
what are
I was just going to say, there's a new one that I came across, and another researcher, Teresa Lynch. She's a great researcher. She has a Facebook group. I'm not on Facebook, so I'm not, but I don't, I'm not on the group.
probably better not to
But
be?
yeah, there's a lot of stuff that I try not to, a lot of social media I try not to, yeah, just stay away from. But she had mentioned on one of the live streams about, the movie by Stanley Kubrick, based on the Stephen King
Oh,
book, The
the Shining.
Shining.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Let me ask you this: have you heard anything about a change on this one so far?
Okay, so the what I'm really thinking of is the whole moon landing connection
Okay,
about how so that's kind of where my mind's going because
okay,
I've heard a lot of like exposés about how he coded the whole movie with like evidence that he did the
yeah,
moon landing.
yeah. Okay, no, this one doesn't deal with that. Okay,
Mm.
at the end of the movie how it ends, right? Do you remember? There's a party.
Where he's frozen out by the maze, right?
Yeah, but do you remember there's a picture? Do you remember the picture?
Oh yeah, yeah, the picture of all the people together,
What kind of party was that?
like a cocktail party kind of.
Yeah, but it was a celebration, a big event. Do you know what time of the year that it's a special occasion?
I mean, my mind's kind of just wanting to think Christmas, but I could be wrong.
Okay, for me, it was a New Year's Eve party. And
Okay.
and it says New Year's Eve 1921 on the
Mm,
picture, and I can show it to you. Well, it's no longer New Year's Eve. It changed to 4th of July.
oh wow. Okay. So I was remembering more Christmas. You were more in the New Year's, but now it's Fourth of July. That's foreign to
Yeah,
both of us.
it's 4th of July now. And if you go, I was like, what? So I mean, I found some stuff. I'm researching that one right now, but that's a new one, and I was like, I couldn't believe it because I've seen that movie a
Yep.
few times, and I mean,
Yeah.
no, it was always a New Year's Eve ball, and
Mm.
I can show you some stuff if you want. It's not
Oh,
a
please.
lot,
Yeah.
so let me pull this up real quick, and then that way,
Yeah. Yeah. You can. I don't know if you know how. I'm not even entirely sure how, but you can put whatever in your little box
yeah, let
and
me.
show the viewers.
So sure. So let me. Hold on. How do I share
Here,
screen?
yeah, while you're doing that, I could kind of touch on that. Is that because one thing that kind of reminded me of when we were talking about The Shining is like this. Um, so how familiar are you with the quantum physics and like the wave theories and stuff like that, like with the ping
Uh,
pong balls going through the double slit experiment? That's what I was thinking of.
No, I mean, I haven't really researched the whole thing. I know that
Okay.
it has, a lot of the computing, a lot of people are saying that this is
Well,
causing the effects they're talking about. They're saying this,
well,
but
quantum physics. Okay, just a brief kind of touch on it is like the kind of the way they do it is particle theory is
Mhm.
like a particle could be here, 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 or here, but then once you like take the picture, boom, it picks the spot, right? But at the same time, before you take the picture, it could be in any of those spots. It's like a Schrodinger cat thing, right?
Okay.
So this is kind of like has to do with the Mandela effect because if people some of us, like for instance, like we don't all remember CHIC. Some of us remember CHIK. I mean,
Yeah.
I barely remember CHIK. I'm more C, but then so that's telling me there are different, probably like numerous different timelines that we're kind of bouncing through at any time, and we're not all necessarily on the same boat. You know, maybe individually we might shift to a different dimension than the friends we're with right now. Like, you know,
Yeah. Have you experienced a duality, like when both exist?
um, to an extent, yeah, I've had moments where almost reminds me of how Berkeley, like he says, whenever you leave a room, the room stops existing, right? For something to exist, we have to be perceiving it, right? And if this
Mhm.
is like kind of some matrix illusion, right? Like electrons are 90% empty space thing where like all of this that's made up around us is empty, you know, and that's so yeah, maybe our perception of it is what makes it real. So, I mean, that could have to do with the Mandela effect and simultaneous realities existing, overlapping each other, because, like I said, time isn't a straight line.
Yeah.
So we are kind of in this infinite flux where we could kind of jump to a better or worse reality based on, I think, our manifestation mindset. But that's just kind of my spiritual kind of how I connect it. I don't know if
Yeah.
everyone agrees with that.
Yeah. And I mean, like I said, a lot of people have different theories about what's going on. And
Yeah.
some people will agree and some will disagree. And I don't know. I don't know how to, for me, it's, this is like something that should not be happening. I
Yeah.
never, everything was like, hey, this is the way life is, that
Mm-hmm.
you grow up, you live and you experience stuff. And, if you're lucky, you live a long life and then you pass away or whatever, and you have your family or whatever.
Right. The
Now
cosmic
it's like,
cycle.
yeah, now, I mean, it's like, what? Yeah, it's like threw a wrench in the whole thing, the way you start seeing these changes.
Yeah.
And this is one thing, for me, the Mandela effect, for me, I go on the negative. I don't see it as a positive thing.
Yeah.
And some people are like, well, you just don't understand. I was like, look, okay, do you think Alzheimer's is a positive thing?
No, not at all.
Why?
Because it affects your kind of touch with reality, I think.
Your family, you wipe out your family, your memories, you wipe out your friends, you can't have a conversation with anybody. Where's the positive in any of that? I don't see anything positive about it. For me, the Mandela effect is affecting your family. It's affecting your memories. It's affecting your friendships because you can't talk about it with people that are experiencing or people that are not experiencing these effects, and you feel isolated. That's how I feel about the Mandela effect.
From a more anecdotal perspective, have you ever experienced any loved ones or friends that have changed?
Yes.
Me
And
too.
then they're like, look, I don't want anything to do with this, or don't even bring it up. And some people get hostile. Some people don't like it. Okay, I know I can't talk to this person. Now until they actually start seeing it. Some people are like, okay, my brother is like, he's like, he sees it and we'll talk about it. And he's like, okay, it's getting too much. I don't want to talk about it. I know something strange is going on. But he'll acknowledge it, at least that, that's fine. But to be in complete, nope, it's not happening, or total denial, well, I can't really relate to somebody, that way, or relate to somebody or have a conversation about it, because
Mm.
they'll get hostile or aggressive or whatever. But yeah, so that's my experience with friends and family. And yeah, I mean, we've had friends, and it was like we had some experience where we could get along or whatever, and then all of a sudden it's like the person completely changed
It's a whole different person.
entirely, and you're like,
Yeah.
what in the world happened? So I mean, I'm sure since I've woken up, I'm a different person, of course. I don't, if you don't, my channel, I mean, my channel, it's Hazel Fiber, and I'll
Yeah.
give you an explanation of the name if you're not aware. One of my favorite books growing up was Hazel. It was a Watership Down, the movies, the animation. And then I read the book, and I was like, oh, this is a great book, by Richard Adams. And Hazel and Fiber are brothers in the story, and they wake
Okay.
up to the reality that their world is changing. Their world is
Ah.
being wiped out by man, and like all this, great meadows, and where they had all their rabbits, their warren is being wiped out by man, and they had to find somewhere else to go. And do you want to come with us and find something new, or stay here and die? And some of them join, and they go off, and they find something great, and that's what the movie's about. And I
A
really
deep
like the
cut. I
two
like that.
brothers. The brother Fiber had more of an, like he could pick up and sense that something was going to change. And he says, this is evil. We have to get out of here. And he listens to his brother Hazel, the older one. He tells his brother Hazel, the older rabbit. And Hazel's like, okay, well, let's go. You've always been right. Let's go. And sure enough, after they leave, the whole area gets wiped out.
Oh wow.
So that's the journey that they end up going, and they find something, and they end up happy. And that's a great story. And that's why I named my channel Hazel Fiber, because I really like the book. And it was not my channel was just to be able to comment on people's videos on YouTube, not to put out any content. And I already had the channel since 2009. And when I started seeing these changes, I started researching. I did research for other channels that were making videos, because I couldn't believe this. And I was supporting, a whole bunch of different channels that, hey, look, you're talking about it. At least I found some stuff, and can I share this with you? And they would either make a video or whatever. But then I was like, okay, look, I think I should start making my videos on my channel, showing the research that I've gone into, and do it the way I want. And that's how my channel came to be, with these videos. So that's the
Oh,
type of
cool.
stuff that I put in. I mean, I don't. I mean, I do make like some music videos, and it's just music that I like, that I
Mm,
enjoy, or I even
nice.
make a recommendation for a movie recommendation. So not everything is Mandela Effect, but the majority of it is. It's just
Nice.
like, okay, here's a song that I liked, and I wanted to make a video because I just wanted to put something together, and I'll make it and I'll post it. And or here's a movie trailer of a movie that I just watched. It was great. It's a recommendation. Check it out. And that's what my channel is about. So it has a
Oh,
variety of things,
cool.
but the majority of it is again Mandela effects. But that's what I post on my channel. Excuse me.
I feel that. Yeah, I know. My Mandela kind of experience, and just my experience in general, because I do a lot of variety content too, like almost anything under the sun you can think about. Like I did an award-winning Free the Nipple documentary, and then I did this really captivating Mandela Effect Anonymous video, which is actually one of the things that kind of landed me here, because I mean, I just got a group of my friends together that had been it had their own experiences with Mandela Effect, and we got this video going where we could all kind of talk about our experiences in a nice little circle. And I'd love to get something actually like that going, but unfortunately, there are not enough woke people in general to have a big turnout right now. Like I'd have to literally handpick them.
Yeah. Well, on my channel, I started live streaming, and I try if it's not on my channel, it's on my friend Rena's channel. Maybe it's Mandela's channel. We'll live stream and we'll try to shoot for like a Thursday evening, like 11:30 or midnight, Friday going into Friday. So we'll live stream and we'll talk about stuff that we've come across. And also my friend Callie, she's her channel's Society is Rejects, and we just go come across all these different things that we're seeing, and we'll talk about them on our channel. And I just posted, I just had that one this Thursday or Friday this past weekend, past week live stream, and it's gaining some some more views on it. I've noticed that on YouTube, like I almost had like 700 views on it, and then all of a sudden it just kept dropping all the way down to 400.
I try to be kind of multi-talented. I'm not just the Mandela Effect guy, for instance. I'm like I'm spiritual, I'm vegan. I try to do community service and help others.
Yeah.
But then also, like, I noticed these changes. I noticed a lot of this kind of multi-dimensional stuff. So like I end up seeing myself as like a space wizard at the end of the day, and then all these normal people just walking by me, they don't know, about the multiple branching timelines. They're not seeing all these numbers and on license plates and everywhere they look. It's like once you're awake, it's like what's that one movie, They Live, where he has the sunglasses?
Yes.
And then he sees the obeys and stuff everywhere. Like, yeah.
Yeah. That one, that movie actually has a Mandela effect, and it did a flip flop. I don't know if you remember that one.
Well, why don't you fill us in about it?
So I made a video. So do you remember when he goes into the bank and what he says about the bubble gum? Where he says, I've come here to chew bubble gum and kick ass. And Duke Nukem is a game that actually also quotes the game, quotes that movie. Well, it changed to, I have come here to kick ass and chew bubble gum. Some people, so it did a switch. It went kick ass and chew bubble gum, as the change was chew bubble gum and kick ass. So it like flipped. And the thing that I'm talking about, now they have Roddy, I made a video on it. Roddy Piper says both. He's doing a promotion for I can't remember the name of this soda, and he says it the way he says it in the movie, the way I come here to kick ass and chew bubble gum. And then but it did a Mandela effect. It actually changed. It flip flopped. And some people were like Flintstones flip flopped, and what do you call it? Apollo 13, where he says, Houston, we have a problem, and it changed to had a problem, and then it's now back to have.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm with you on that. Yeah.
It kind of sure. Yeah, and it changed like that. So I mean, it's, I don't know, it's very strange, but
those ones are hard to deny. Like Luke, I'm your father. Like those are usually the easy sellers when you're talking to like a novice in the Mandela Effect. You're like, you just say a few of these like poppy things and they're going to be on board. But then that's really just the foreplay, so you can get them into kind of some of these deeper effects, which do have kind of a bigger impact. And you realize, okay, it's like, is it kind of linked together with some agenda, or is it all random? I think it's a little bit of both. Like I said, I don't think we're necessarily shifted around randomly. I think we kind of, whether unintentionally or intentionally, we can shift ourselves, which is why some of us end up in different realities. But then they're the ones kind of creating these branched realities, hypothetically. Emphasis on the hypothetically, because like I don't know anything. At the end of the day, I end up being Socratic. Like wise man knows he knows nothing, and that way I can be open-minded to different ideas.
Yeah,
that's kind of how I cope with it.
Yeah, I mean, everybody has their way of trying to cope with this, because it is we are dealing with a new reality of what's going on in
Yeah.
our world now. I mean, and it fluctuates, which shouldn't be happening. You've never heard of this. I never heard of this before, growing up, and then all of a sudden 2016 comes around, and there was, things that had changed before that I didn't know was a Mandela effect. Like in 2004, my friend and I made a video, the Fleetwood Mac album, Rumors.
Rumors, yeah.
Yeah. You remember what's on the cover? Excuse me.
It was the girl Stevie with
Yeah.
the dude in
But
the guitar.
yeah,
She's sitting in a chair, white background.
it was Mick Fleetwood, who is the drummer, and then Stevie in it. Well, now he has a set of balls hanging between his legs.
Really?
Yeah, look at it. Look it up.
Let me see. I think I have this vinyl.
Look it up.
Here.
Now he has a set of balls hanging between his legs. And it wasn't there. My friend, he in 2004, I think it was 2004, 2013, he brought it to my attention. I went to go visit him and his family, and we were listening to what was it, a Pandora, the streaming service for music.
Oh yeah.
And he was listening. He's like, yeah, man, listening to the Fleetwood Mac. And he goes, man, something happened. And I said, what are you talking about? And he goes, and I mean, this was way before the Mandela effect, before I was awake. Like I said, it was 2003 or 2004. Can't remember exactly the year, but he's like, hey, I have this album, and now he has a set of balls hanging between his legs, and it was never there. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And I looked at the album, and it just looks so wrong. And
yeah, no, he never had those hanging there. I'm looking at it now. Like,
it's disturbing.
Why?
It's disturbing. Yeah, I made a video on it, and I mean, I so far that I can see, I'm the only one that has a channel video on this Mandela effect. And
another thing is, I remember her sitting in a chair too.
Oh wow, okay.
Now she's doing this weird crouch spin thing, like she was sitting in a chair and they just took out the chair.
Yeah. Now I think there's like a little ottoman or something down there,
stool
or whatever down there. But yeah, and now he has this set of balls there, and I'm like, no,
definitely no balls. And Stevie had a chair.
Yeah. So you see, and that was before I found out about the effect. And he was like, my friend was totally disturbed about it. He said, man, he never had that. And I said, yeah, I know. I listened to it. I've seen that album. Never had that before. And he goes, it just like it popped up overnight. He said it. And I didn't think anything of it. I was just like, well, I guess whatever. But then I did the research on it. I posted a video on it, and I found a lot of evidence to show it wasn't like that. And I had some people that in my comments of my video, like, it's always been there. No, I have the album. Actually, one person commented on my video and says, I have the album, and he does not have it on the album. What the hell? Like, freaking out. Like, I don't understand. How is this even possible? So yeah.
See, and that kind of touches on one of the bigger points too, is that some people you'll meet will remember whatever the new reality is. So that tells me, like, some of the people aren't the people we used to know, like some people might be from this reality.
Yeah. Have you ever experienced one where an actual person pops out of nowhere, like a new person?
Like a new person in life, or
say in a band, or
the big one is the Village People.
Yeah, the Village People.
Do you know about that one?
Yeah. And I made a video recently about the Village People too, because it changed. But that has nothing to do with the members. It deals with the song YMCA. Do you remember the song and what they did in the video with when they came to the YMCA, the actions that they did? Do you remember? They sang it YMCA.
Well, why don't you refresh me?
Well, they used to do the letters. Why?
Oh yeah, the Y, and
they don't do that anymore.
Yeah, they don't do the letters in the song.
Nope, they've never done it.
Oh my goodness, I would have thought they did.
Well, they don't do it anymore. And I posted a video where I found some footage of them actually talking about that. Hey, the crowd at a concert, you need to do it this way. But if you look, They just clap now. They just clap, and the crowd is doing the actions. The village people themselves don't do it.
Oh wow. So yeah, that's a whole shift too, because
Yeah.
that would be the one thing I would remember about the video was them doing the
Yeah. Yeah.
YMCA.
Yeah. They don't do
Yeah.
that anymore. You can't find it other than the one that I found. I mean, that one, and I think I'm so far the only one that made a video about that. But
Well,
what I was talking about with people, the Jackson Five. You remember the Jackson Five, right?
yeah, yeah.
How many people in the group?
There should be five, obviously,
There's
right?
six now.
The Jackson Six. Okay.
No, they're still called the Jackson's Five, but
Mm,
there's a new brother that popped up.
okay, there was definitely five because I remember one of their album covers had five of
Yeah.
them on
Well, it's Randy Jackson popped out into this
there.
reality. Randy Jackson never existed in my reality. And I researched this and I came across it by accident because I was actually doing research on Michael Jackson, the spelling of Michael, because I've seen Michael with the E and the A, and then it changed. It was A, the E, Michael with the
Like
Michael
what is it now? What's Michael Jackson's now? Is it EA or
AEL,
A?
AAEL.
So I remember Michael EAL,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I
yeah,
love Michael Jackson. Beat
yeah.
It, Smooth Criminal, Pretty
It's
Young Thing, all those.
AEL. And
You know.
that led me to the finding Randy Jackson. I said, who the hell's Randy Jackson? Well, Randy Jackson popped up, and now he's in this reality. They've always they still call themselves the Jackson Five, but Randy Jackson has been part of the group now. And I'm like, what? No, Randy Jackson never existed. So that's a person that I'm talking about pops into a reality, and it doesn't make sense. Well, like the village people, how many members were originally? Some people remember four, some people remember five. Now they're up to six.
Oh wow, they're up to okay. I kind of remember four, but then I remember five as well,
Yeah,
just
well, there's
because I
six
thought I
now.
went to a reality with five, and now it's yeah, definitely six now. They keep getting more and more.
Yeah, so you see how that's what I'm talking about with people. I mean, how are people not seeing this, and people that are denying it? Okay, well, you can deny that you're in the reality of it always being this way. All right, I respect that, but you know, uh, you don't have to be harsh or coming on to a video and troll and say, you don't know, you're stupid or whatever, and leave stupid comments or whatever. People like that I don't have time for.
Yeah.
Just block them. But yeah, so something very wrong is going on, and I just
Sinister. Yeah.
it doesn't make sense. I mean, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Caribbean, when you think of the Caribbean, where do what kind of what islands do you remember in the Caribbean?
In the Caribbean, well, of course, like my mind's gonna go to Disney, to the Jack Sparrow and the pirate ship, and these beautiful kind of
Yeah,
like.
what country?
I'm thinking somewhere kind of off Florida or something.
Okay, so okay, for me, the Bahamas is the what I think of when I think of the Caribbean, because the Bahamas used to be in the Caribbean. They used to be in the Caribbean, and if you look on the map, Caribbean Sea was right on the other side of Cuba, and you have Jamaica there. There's Cuba and then Jamaica, and there's the Caribbean Sea, right?
Yeah.
The Caribbean Sea is where the Bahamas were, and now the Bahamas are, what is it, 90 miles or 50 miles from Florida, and that's the Atlantic. So how
Oh
can the
wow.
Caribbean Sea, how can the Bahamas be in the Caribbean Sea when it's actually in the Atlantic Ocean? That's on the
Huh.
other side of Cuba.
Oh, okay. So yeah, that's in a completely different place than I thought.
Yeah. So yeah, right now it's like really close to Florida. And I was like, nope, that's it. And I have a friend who's a pilot, and he
Mm.
flies around in that area. And he's like, I thought, when he first became awake to these changes, he was like, well, maybe it's just a map thing or whatever. And he goes, but when I can actually see the ground from the sky and I can see that the landmass has grown, there's something really wrong, man. There's something really wrong with what's going on here. I don't understand. How is this even possible? And I said, exactly.
Well, I
So,
like I like what you're saying about the landmass growing. That's a whole other point I want to get into. But I'm gonna hold on to that because the previous thing that kind of popped in my mind was the dazed and confused.
mhm.
How there was that mystery island on the globe that just
Yes.
isn't on our maps now.
Yeah.
Like, so that's kind of like, okay, our geography has changed. Some things are added, some things are taken away.
Yeah. And an island that is no longer an island. A lot of people remember was oh shoot, I'm drawing a blank. Oh, I hate this. They filmed Jurassic Park there. Um, the Do you remember Jurassic Park where they filmed it?
Yeah, yeah,
What
yeah.
was the name of the island? Um, oh, dang it. Now I have to go to the map. I'm drawing a
It's
blank.
a Isle Soma. Isle Soma.
Well, it was,
Oh,
not,
that's what the Google's telling me.
yeah, now it's, well, this place, oh my goodness, it's next to Nicaragua's not far from there. What's the name of it? The They always called it, my friends would go there all the time, and they would call it the island. We're going to the island.
Oh, is it
No,
Nublar?
no, let me look at the map. I have to look it up because
Okay,
right
yeah.
now,
Google keeps telling me the in canon names.
no, San Juan is,
San Juan. Okay.
yeah, but what's the name of that's the capital. What's the name of the country? San Juan. Um,
Yeah, Google isn't being helpful at all to me.
uh, South America. I'm just pulling the South America map, and
Oh,
okay,
Oahu
no,
or Kauai,
hold on.
Oahu, Kauai, and Maui, and Oahu. And that's just saying all the
Costa
northern
Rica.
countries.
Costa Rica used to be an island.
Hmm. Okay.
Costa Rica is not an island.
Wait. Okay. So first of all, let me break this down. Okay. So Costa Rica, right? That's definitely an island in my book,
Yeah,
right?
it's no longer an island.
Okay.
It's
That's
part of.
even
It's next to Nicaragua and the Panama Canal. It used to be an island. It's no longer an island. And if you watch Jurassic Park, they say that they go to the capital, which is San Juan, in Costa Rica. That's where the ship is. When he's going to go, you've seen Jurassic Park when he gets the
yeah.
samples, and he's like, we have to get it to the ship. And it was the guy that was played Newman on Seinfeld. That's the character, or that's the actor.
Okay.
And well, now San Juan is in the middle of the freaking country that's never been an island. San Juan.
Okay. So
Costa Rica used to be an island. It's no longer
they
an island.
definitely either wanted people to think it was an island, but
Yeah.
yeah, I'm remembering it being an island.
Yeah.
So
So that's what I'm talking about. Costa Rica
yeah,
is not an island. It's
I'm gonna just second guess my self doubt and agree with you there because yeah, I mean it should be an island if it's not,
yeah. So you have shifting going on, and
right?
it doesn't make sense. It does not make sense, man. I can't
Because
believe I.
why would I pay top dollar to fly to Costa Rica when I could pay like half the price and just fly to Nicaragua and just drive down?
Yeah. So yeah, and like I said, I had friends that would go there all the time, and they would call it the island. Well, why would you call it an island if it's not an island? And they
Um,
stopped going there too after a while. And I'm like, did they finally realize that they weren't going to an island? I mean, they have
yeah,
beaches, but I'm talking about they were going to the main island. And I was like,
Maine. Yep.
yeah, there's videos about Costa Rica being an island, and it's not. And I mean, you have a lot of people that say, well, no, it's always been It's never been an island. It's always
right?
been part of the,
And
the way it
and
is
that's where
now.
you get the people telling you you're misremembering, and then these people like married to this reality that like I'm almost thinking that conscious people shift more than unconscious people.
Yeah.
Like they're kind of stationed to their reality, almost like NPC characters in a video game.
Yeah.
But going back to the geographical
Oh, sure.
Mandelas, which I love, is because I'm Egyptian. I was just in Egypt in 2017, and obviously like probably mid awakening now because that's like 2012, 5 years, or 4 years, or wherever we are now. But so about the halfway point in my current awakening, and yeah, well, I was noticing a lot of changes in Egypt, especially with the pyramids. You know they're
Yeah.
like they're like six pyramids now.
No, there's 12.
Well, there's six main ones where it used to just be the main three.
Yeah, I
Now
remember
it's
the three. Yeah.
yeah, now it's the main six, and yeah, they have 12 in all. And I'm
Yeah.
just like, okay. First of all, I mean, I remember some smaller pyramids, but I don't remember there being six main pyramids. Like the other ones were way smaller, but now all six are pretty comparable in size. I mean, they definitely get smaller and smaller, but yeah, no, that because I think the last time I visited before 2017 had to be like closer to 2008. So it was a good 10 years there, like
Wow.
pre-awakening and then post-awakening. I was just like, I was noticing stuff everywhere.
Do you
Little
remember
thing.
the Great Pyramid in the middle? You remember it in the middle?
Yeah. I remember the pyramid being in the middle, and now it's off to the right.
Yeah,
That's
my brother went there when he was in the military, and my cousin, because he was also he did contract work for the the major petroleum companies, and he went there. He had to do some work, and I asked him after I found out about this change. I said, "Hey, did you see the pyramid?" He's like, "Oh yeah." I'm like, "So where's the Great Pyramid?" He goes, "Yeah, it's, I went and saw the Great Pyramid." And he was like, "Yeah, it's huge." And I said, "Well, yeah, where's it located?" He goes, "Come on, you know where it's at." I said, "Well, can you tell me you were there?" He goes, "That big one right in the freaking middle."
Yep.
I said, "Yep." And I said, "Can you do me a favor? Can you look at it on your phone?" While I was talking to him, and he was like, "Get the hell out of here, man. What? No, it wasn't like
Yeah.
that. It was the one in the middle, not the one on the side, next to it." And then my brother's like, "Yeah, I actually went there and I touched it. It was the one in the middle." So how does that happen? I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, they were kind of freaked out about that, my cousin and my brother, because they both were there and they remember it was right in the middle.
Yeah, Egypt I've noticed is kind of an epicenter for like spirituality and consciousness, which is also too ironic because whenever I went there, nobody was like really realizing, okay, there's a lot of like clues all around you, but they don't know any better. There's Christians, there's Muslims just rocking out, but you don't see anyone, any pagans, any people who are into the ancient gods or anything like that. Versus like, okay, how it used to be. They used to have the Library of Alexandria, but I'm getting off topic. Just the main point, like one of the conscious centers of the
Yeah.
world. So of course there would be like a lot of these like changes there because, well, one, because the people there are so unconscious that these changes are more likely to go unnoticed. And I don't want to
Yeah.
talk down on Egypt, but I mean, obviously you look at ancient Egypt, it was like a marvel to the whole world, and
Yeah.
now it's like they're just hoping for some tourism, like
Yeah. I was going to ask you, since we're talking about that, do you ever remember there being like a cliff there, that the pyramids were right next to a cliff?
you see, okay, there's two things that actually connects to how I kind of remember at some point there being kind of some water source going up to the pyramids. Now, whether this was like in my past life or what, like, is to believe, but yeah, I do remember there being some kind of drop off where the water would flow kind of past and around the pyramids, and then
Mhm.
have some kind of place to sprinkle over, which could have been a waterfall. But
Yeah.
that might be like thousands of years ago. Like,
I remember, who was the one that talked about it. I want to say, I think it was Long Ego. He had mentioned it. He's another YouTube channel that talked about Mandela effects. And I asked my brother and my cousin, and they were like, there was no cliff there. I don't remember that. And if you look at the pictures now, look video footage, the pyramids, it's like around the edge, there's like a cliff. And I was like, what is this? So it's a little, yeah, if you haven't seen it, take a look at it, see if you remember that, because it does look strange.
Yeah, there's a few things. Like a lot of people are talking about with like well, not just Egypt, but getting just to the wonders of the world in
Mhm.
general. Have you noticed anything weird with Stonehenge?
Yeah, it's fake. I made a video on it. I made a video
Yeah,
called
well,
Ancient, and
have you seen the pictures of the people like reconstructing it, quote
yeah, that's
unquote, or
my
whatever?
video. I made a video
Yeah.
of it that I came across these pictures. I was like, wait a minute,
Mhm.
this never happened. And I had a couple of comments that were like, I'm from that area and it's always been, well, they're reconstructing it with cranes. And
Yeah.
that's yeah, there's pictures of them up there holding putting the stones, measuring it to the precise measurements that they want to set it all up. My friend, who's actually lived in Scotland, he went to go see it. And for me, the Stonehenge was in Scotland, and I
Mm.
said, well,
Yeah, I
hey,
remember in
they
Scotland
did
too.
they no, it's not in Scotland.
Is it in Ireland now or something?
No, it's still in the UK, but it's I can't remember the name of the place. But yeah, it's not in Scotland. And I said,
Oh,
well, that just they did move it. I mean, maybe that moved it. I don't know, but yeah, it was in Scotland. It's no longer in Scotland. And there's some articles that I came across where like a whole bunch of German tourists came to Scotland to look for the Stonehenge, and they were in the wrong place. They were like, what? No, we're here to see Stonehenge, and it's not
right.
there.
They didn't get the memo. Like Christopher Columbus too. He was trying to come to India. He ends up in America.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I do have these pictures if you wanted to see this one on The Shining, if you want me to
Oh,
share.
definitely. Can you put them on screen?
Okay. You see
There it
this?
goes.
So this is what I remember. This was a New Year's Eve in 1921. And
Yep.
this is Jack Nicholson. They have him in the Baphomet pose, by the way, if you look at it closely.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah, but it was a New Year's Eve ball. Overlook Hotel, New Year's Eve, 1921.
Yeah, it looks like New Year's Eve, not 4th of July. Like
Yeah.
what?
And look at Stephen King right here.
Oh wow.
I did not notice this before. Holy
Yeah,
crap.
I
There's
never.
Nikola Tesla.
Yeah.
What?
Wait, I don't think is that the actual? That can't be the
This,
actual Tesla.
no, I think they doctored this, but this is weird. Look at this. I don't remember Stephen King in there, but
Yeah, Stephen King in there or Tesla, like this is
Tesla.
in here.
Yeah, I know.
I bet if you look hard enough, there's some more. Like probably.
Yeah. And
Usually how it
here,
is.
so this is the tweet that I found. Actually, this one right here. Ross May, somebody tweeted this in the book. It was a New Year's Eve party. I subscribe to the theory that Kubrick also made The Shining about Overlook Hotel / America being built on native lands and lives, and never pointing it out. And so right there, he's talking about how it was a New Year's Eve party. Look right here, Outlook Hotel, July 4th ball, 1921. So it changed to 4th of July
Yeah,
party.
who has a ball for the 4th of July? They'd be wearing red, white, and blue. That
Yeah,
doesn't see that just doesn't even match up.
yeah, I know. And look, this is one that I came across. It was a Texas freight mayor weekend, and they're doing a theme of at the Outlook Hotel, New Year's Eve, 1921. They put their faces just like Jack Nicholson, celebrating this, and it was like The Shining, and it was a New Year's Eve, an invitation, not a at the same hotel, not a Fourth of July, but yeah, look, New Year's. This is a meme that I found. New Year's, Happy New Year, Outlook, Happy New
And they
Year's
made it
Eve.
the way
Oh,
they remembered it. Yeah.
yeah, So this is what it is right now. Overlook Hotel, July 4th ball, 1921.
And just how they worded it too, July 4th ball.
Yeah.
Because when's there ever been a July 4th ball?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm with you on that. There's a lot of movie changes, especially.
Yeah. So I just wanted to share that one since we had mentioned Shining.
Oh yeah, yeah, that was
So,
cool. I didn't even know you could screenshot like that. Yeah,
yeah.
that's a game changer.
But yeah, you remember the same thing. It was a ball that, but you said Christmas.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
remembered Christmas very well, but you remember New Year's. So I'm like, okay, we're both
Yeah.
from kind of different realities, but we ended up here in this bizarro July 4th reality. Like,
Yeah.
it's nice to meet you. We're at almost like an inner past, like,
It's very,
like who knows where we'll be in the future. And I think as time goes on, there are more and more changes, and they
oh,
become more and more subtle to the point where, yeah, eventually people just aren't going to notice them. Like the 1111, I have a friend who sees them all the time, but instead of being like looking at like, okay, why am I seeing this, she's just like, oh, cool number, I always feel cool numbers. And I'm like, well, it's not the number, it's not the thing on the surface, it's not even the Mandela effect, right? Like we keep coming back to this, is it's what's behind, like what's going
yeah.
on these higher dimensions, right? Because if we're in this kind of matrix reality, this multi-dimensional kind of space-time continuum, right? Like,
Yeah. Well, I was going to ask you, and some people had noticed like ringing in their ears as one of the things that they say, well, have you noticed that? Now, lately, I have not. Before, it was like you would hear like a ringing in the ears, just, and then it would go away after a few seconds or whatever. And now, not so much. I don't know if you've noticed that if you've experienced it or if,
you're talking about like the womp, like where it's like time's almost slowing down. It's like womp 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 womp, and then it's like boom, you're back, and it's like, okay.
no, I haven't experienced that. Mine is more like a high pitch sound,
Mm,
and like um, I don't know. It's just like a ringing. It's just very strange. But I did notice that early on, and I was like, well, I don't know if that has anything to do with it. But lately, I have not heard or experienced that. So it's like, I don't know. It's
I
very
actually have
strange.
I've talked to some friends about this before, because yeah, if we are shifting, we're gonna respond to it differently,
Yeah.
because obviously all of our bodies are different, right? Like 10 people get a vaccine, some of them might not get side effects, some of them might get different side effects. So you're like, okay, you never know how one person's going to kind of notice these changes. Like for sure, for me, it's like I have like kind of like a time thing going on, like almost like time dilation, or like
Yeah.
moments where time just seems like the other day, like my girlfriend, like it was weird, like she was talking and then she just kind of slowed down
Oh,
like this, and everything she said was so like in movies when you see slow motion,
yeah.
like it was just like that. And I was like, okay, either maybe it's just my perception of the timeline, right? Because if these bodies are like soul vehicles, so to speak, right? So maybe like how our soul vehicles work, right? Like our soul driving them around is like, okay, it's just navigating this timeline in this reality, which is essentially the prison that's holding us in this reality, I think, is time.
Well, it's a strange experience what we're seeing, and what we're all experiencing things differently. It's
Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah,
Have you
is
noticed
there?
any weird kind of, just while we're on the time thing, have you noticed any kind of like um effects on kind of like how time passes, like it's passing faster or slower
Yes.
than you
Oh,
remember?
it's speeding up completely.
Yeah.
Even my daughter, I mean, she was telling me, she was like, how is it, why is it going so fast? And I mean, she's 11 years old. It's like, time is going so fast. Wake up, next thing you know, it's already time to go to bed. It's like, where did the time go? And she's like, it's so she's seen it, and she's a child, she's actually seen some of the effects and brought it to my attention. When I would drive her to school, to private school, she was like, she would pay attention to the signs, the names and stuff like that, like avenue or place, like on the signs of the street names, what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
So
a little bit.
avenue, what's the abbreviation for avenue?
AVE,
Well, now
right?
it's changed to AB.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a weird one because I feel like I just read an AVE
Yeah.
like the
Well,
other day.
it's some, she pointed that out about 2.5 years ago, I want to say.
Oh
And she's
wow.
like, and I said, she goes, that has to be fixed. You have to call somebody. And I didn't think anything of it. And then another channel made a video about the AVE changing to AV for Avenue. And I'm like, what? And sure enough, you can look it up. There it's changing to AV now. So the
Oh
E
wow.
is being dropped on some of these these signs, like the train in New York, the famous one, the big one, which where everybody's coming in,
Oh yeah, the one
train
with the
connect.
big train station.
Yeah, what is it called?
Yeah.
Grand.
Grand Central Station. Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, it changed to Grand Central Terminal.
Okay, you got to be kidding me with that one.
Yeah, I have a video on it. I was the one that
Okay.
posted a video on that changing, and it's Grand Central Terminal now. It's
Oh wow.
not Grand Central Station.
So
And
see,
I'm like,
that's a new one to me.
yeah. So I have a list of a whole bunch of effects that I've come across and I've made videos on, and people are like, I mean, I even came across and then recently just found the Grand Central Station post office, and on the building itself, it says Grand Central Station post office or postal service now.
Oh
But
wow.
yeah, it still says it on the glass that it's a Grand Central Station. So, but yeah, it was station and it's changed to terminal.
Yeah, there's a few of those like with like the big kind of central places. Like I'm like, okay. So that one really hit me because yeah, I remember Grand Central Station.
Yeah.
Um, trying to think, I'm sure there's some more of it. It's almost like second nature to me at this point. Just gonna do a little closer here, just for the audience, the viewers, woke, enlightened, conscious people. Thank you for joining us on the Toronto Business Journal with Hazel Fiver here. Give him some love on his channel, and I will see you all again in the next one.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming, Hazel. You want to
Thanks.
say some closers?
No, well, thanks. And if you wanted to check out my channel, I did make a series recently called What You Used to Be. And they're like 6 minutes long. And it's just a compilation of videos of effects that I've come across and research. So yeah, if you're not, if you're interested in just watching something that's not going to take very long, that's a series
Perfect.
that you
Yeah.
should check out.
I just subscribed to you, and I'm gonna watch those probably right after this. I'm excited. So you
Appreciate
definitely
it.
you know your stuff, man, and stay woke.
Well, thanks. I appreciate it.
All right, namaste for now, and see you on the next one.